If you are ready to level up your trading game, you are in the right place. I have been trading for over 7 years, and today I am excited to walk you through my proven strategy for day trading and scalping. A system that is designed to help you capitalize on quick market movements while minimizing risk. This guide is perfect if you are just getting started or looking to refine your edge in the market. We are going to cover the exact steps I use to find high probability setups, manage risk, and execute trades efficiently. So grab your notepad and settle in as I am about to break down my intraday trading strategy. First of all, my trading strategy is almost entirely systematic. I allow, I think, like 20% discretion in my trading strategy, and for the rest it's basically entirely systematic, so there are no ifs or anything like that. It's there or it isn't, basically. So I do my higher time frame starting from the H12. I look for draws for price in the form of order blocks, fair value gaps, H12 direction. For that I use structure, basically, so market structure, and I look for liquidity sweeps on the H12. For H4 I do the exact same steps because price is fractal. What happens on the H12 also happens on the H4, and I gather my confluences in a top-down analysis, basically. For H1 also draws, direction, and sweeps. They're very important. All my trades have to be in line with M5 order flow. I will show you an example later of that. My entry technique is 100% systematic. It's always a M5 sweep and a M1 breaker zone, and that way my execution will be always systematic, so also very consistent, basically. Breaker zones must be formed on the day of entry, and entries must be inside of London open till London close, so 8 AM in the morning till 6 PM in the afternoon. My TPs are always 2-hour fixed TPs. I don't go for huge TPs, something like that. I want to be in and out of the markets as soon as possible, and I'm covering Euro USD today. So I'm also going to cover this month's price action, showing a few examples. I personally have taken 4 trades with the strategy this month, one on the 1st of October, 2 on the 3rd of October, and 1 trade today on the time of recording. Here are my trades, here's my trading log, and I also log my trades, of course. Here are all the screenshots, breakdowns, anything like that. So yeah, let's start off. First of all, the first step I'm going to explain is my entry technique. My entry technique, like I mentioned before, is always systematic. It's always of an M5 sweep with a M1 breaker zone. So I'm going to show you a little example here of today's price action. Here you can see the price had a M5 sweep. Price run below this swing low, as you can see here, and close above. At that point, I zoom into the M1 and I'm going to find my structure high, so the market structure level, which is always the swing high before the M5 sweep. This is the M1 time frame. As you can see, price is dipping lower, it's pushing up, and then this high here, this swing high here was the last swing high before the sweep, and after price closing above it on the M1, I can draw my entry, basically. It's always the same, it's 100% systematic. So here you can see I mark out the gray zone, and this gray zone represents my entry, basically, and my stop loss. I always put my entry at the top of the box and my stop loss at the bottom of the box, which also represents this M5 sweep low, basically. So I put my limit on the top, stop loss below, and then always a 2 RTP. Here you can see where the M5 sweep, MSB, RTO, which means return to the origin, also known as a retest, basically. And price, it came into my limit here, and then it pushes up. I'm going to show another example for shorts. So here again, we have an M5 sweep at the high, and then price running above this swing high here, the close is below. So at that point, when the M5 close confirmed the sweep, I can go to the M1 and look for my market structure, basically. This is the last swing low before the sweep, and I mark out my market structure breaks always with a blue line and my sweeps with a black line. This way I keep everything organized on my charts, and it's gonna be very clean on your charts and stuff like that, and I prefer that. So yeah, you can see price running up, taking out the M5 high, and then here it broke down on the M1. At that point I can draw my breaker zone, which is my entry, basically, which is the M5 M1 entry, which is always the same. Market structure break here, and then you can see how it came back into the level. So this is my R2 real quick, and then again a 2-hour fixed TP as on all my trades, basically, because this way I have a high strike rate, less swerves on TPs and stuff like that. I really like to be in and out of the market as quick as possible, basically. Also peace of mind, of course. So yeah, here you can see it broke down the M1, we came back into it, fill, then again into the level, and then it dropped some sideways action, and then into my TP, as you can see. So this is how I enter the market at all times. It's an M5 sweep with the M1 breaker zone. I don't deviate from this ever, and now I'm using higher time frame confluences and M5 order flow in line with the M5 M1s, which I'm going to break down right now on last month's price action. So like I said, I always start with the H12 time frame. You can see October started here on this candle, and when the new month started, price had broke down on the H12. We had a structure break, because this is a swing low. As you can see here, I have a custom made indicator for my members, which indicates all the structure points and all the swing points in the market. So this black arrow here is a swing point. You can also look at the values, of course, but you can see we broke down on the H12 here. So at this point, direction is clear for me. So H12 breaking down. And now I'm looking at the draw on H12. And the draw on H12 can either be a order block, a fair value gap, or a swing point in the form of liquidity. As you can see here, we have a liquidity pool here, a swing low and a swing low. So loads of liquidity is resting below. So now I have a H12 direction and I have a H12 draw. Now I can drop to the H4 and look for clues there. I do the same thing here again. So this is the H12 MSB. Now I go to the H4 and do the same thing. Here again on the H4, we also had a structure break to the downside. And I mark out my structures with a blue line like I mentioned before. Now I do the same thing on the H1. It's kind of the same as H1 right now. We have a mark structure break here on the H1, but essentially H12 is bearish, H4 is bearish. So at this point I can look for shorts and then we have a nice draw here. So after this break here, we can look for M5, M1 shorts basically. So we go to the M5 right here, and here was the H4 MSB right there. And I'm going to put on this session indicator. So everything is blue, is valid for me to execute trades in. It's from 8 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. in the afternoon basically. So in this range, in this time range, I can look for trades. And we know that price is bearish on the H12 and H4, H1 also bearish, and we have a draw lower on price. So now I look for M5 order flow, which means where are the orders flowing to basically. As you can see, price is bearish here. We're making lower lows and lower highs. And now all I do is look for M5 liquidity sweeps. So let me see. Here is the first liquidity sweep on the M5, right? And then here another one. And then we have another one here later. And then we pushed up, and that's about it for the day. On these sweeps, I go to the M1 and look for entries basically. So here we have a M5 sweep I marked out previously. And then we look for the MSB level, so the market structure level, which is all the way back down here. Blue line, MSB. And then the breaker zone is always going to be the last down candle before the sweep, which is this down candle here and then this level. And as you can see here, we had the MSB and price never came back to the entry. I personally had a short limit in this level for a potential RTO into the level, so retest into the level, but it never came back. But luckily, price gave another M5 sweep here with another M1 breaker zone here, M1 market structure break, and then we have another M5 M1 right there. So after this M1 MSB, I have my limits in this level, so like this, and then for a 2 RTP again like this. As you can see, my entry came all the way back here. So here no fill and my limits in. So after the M1 MSB, I have pretty little time to put my limits in. So I calculate my lot size, I figure out how much I can risk on this trade, and then I put my limits in the level. So my limits are at 108.23 with stop loss at 108.89, and then a target for 2R at 106.90. So here you can see no fill yet. It's going lower, it's coming back up. I got a fill here, and then you can see inside of it, and then it dropped lower. And there was even a new M5 sweep into my limit, but when I'm in a position, I'm not going to enter another one because when markets go against me, I am wrong twice basically, so I don't need that basically. So as you can see, 2 RTP was hit here on the 1st of October, and then you can see we also hit the liquidity draw on the H12, which was these lows here, and you can see we run into those lows on my trade here. So and let's see the next opportunity. There's also this trade here, first trade on the 1st of October. See H12 MSB, H4 MSB, and then you can see how I marked it out, and I made 2.2k on that particular trade basically. The next one is on October 3rd. I'm gonna show you real quick. The after price coming into a lower, here we have a H12 order block, which I marked out now. So we took out the liquidity into the order block, and we also were partly filling in this FEG. FEGs can be used for draws or for support basically, or resistance. And you can see we came into the level, and then here we swept this low here on the H4, and then again on the H4. It was looking on the M5, it was looking like, you can see we had the H4 sweep into the H12 order block and a partly fair value gap fill, and then you pushed up with the M5 MSB here. I'm trying to figure out what order flow is doing on the M5, because all my M5 M1 setups have to be in line with order flow basically. So we pushed up, and then we came down, and we took out this low here, M5 low. After M5 sweep, I always go to the M1. So right there, you can see the M5 sweep. So now what we do is find our market structure level, which is always last swing low before the sweep, or the last swing high before the sweep. In this case, the last swing high before the sweep, MSB right there. Now we can mark out our breaker zone with a H4 sweep inside of H12 support. H12 FEG was being filled partly, and then M5 order flow was turning bullish. So at that point, I got everything to be looking for M5 M1 trades in line with the M5 order flow, and the order flow was bullish. So now you can see we came back into the origin here, M5 sweep, M1 MSB, and then same thing as always we put our limit, our buy order at the top of the box and our stop loss at the bottom of the box. And again, a 2 RTP. Nothing more, nothing less. As you can see here, we came back in the level, we filled it, and it pushed up into TP. Of course, it went much higher, but I don't care what price is doing after my target. I want to be in and out of the market as soon as possible, as quick as possible. Yeah, that was this trade. I made 4K on that trade. I risked 2K to make 4K basically. It's a 2R trade. If your trading capital is a bit lower, you can make less on that. So if you risk $100 on this trade, you can make $200, etc. So yeah, whatever account or risk you're using, you can scale this up to any number basically. If you're risking 10K on this trade, you can make 20K on that trade. So basically, the next trade was on October 3 again. Yeah, you can see how it was pushing up here, right? Order flow was remaining bullish here because at this point right there, you can see everything is pointing up still. We took out the H4 liquidity from here. On the day prior, we pushed up on the M5, pullback, M5 on 1, it was my first trade, and then again, a new one. M5 liquidity sweep here, rate, swept here, and then this is your entry level, and then a 2 RTP. But at the point of this play, you can see the M5 sweep closed later than the M1 MSB, and we always have to have a M5 sweep confirmation, and then we look for the M1 MSB. But in this case, the M1 MSB came before the M5 closure. So at that point, we wait for the M5 closure and market entry whenever the M5 confirms the sweep. So at this point here, I entered right here at this next candle, because here you can see that M1 had a MSB already, because this is the swing high before the sweep, but this is 11.1, 11.2, 11.3, 11.4, 11.5. At this point, we are able to enter. So I entered on market here, we stopped below with a 2 RTP again, and then we waited for price to do his thing. It came back in my entry a little bit, and then you can see a target here, which is my third trade of the day, this one. Yeah, exactly. I made 5K on this trade. I risked 2.5K to make 5K. So a very good day here, 2 wins basically. So after that, there weren't a lot of setups for me. It is an intraday strategy, of course, but it doesn't mean you have to provide every single day. You know what I mean? My monthly target is only 5 R per month, and I am more than fine with that basically. As you grow up as a trader, you don't need like 20 R months, 10 R months, something like that. Anything between 4 and 6 R per month is well enough to make a living of trading. So yeah, after that, the price fell off. You can see the support level has been sliced through, but it doesn't matter because we took our trades inside of it, and after that, there were no opportunities anyways. We broke down. And then here we have a new market structure break on the H12, and another one here again on the H12. And yeah, MSB here, you can see some grinding here, and we went lower. So right here, big FEG left behind, as you guys see. It's the FEG on the H12. And like I mentioned, FEGs can be used for draws or resistance. And in this case, it was resistance because price has pushed into it and then it came down. On the H4, you can see that price as MSB here. At first it was bullish, as you can see, because here we had a H4 structure break. So I was pretty flat here because I couldn't look for longs because we are inside of resistance on H12 and I couldn't do anything basically. So I was waiting for any bearish signs on the H4 when it came inside the H12 level basically. So I always want my H12 and H4 to be aligning basically. What I am doing on the H12, I'm also doing on the H4. So here we came into the H12 resistance, H4 MSB here. After the structure break, I was all bearish again because H12 is bearish, H4 is now bearish, we came into resistance and price is rejecting from it. So all I do now is look for M5 order flow and then M5 and M1 setups in line with the order flow. So everything I do is pretty systematic. It's always the same thing. I post my H12, H4 and H1 analysis every single day in my group basically, where you can follow along. And you will notice that what I do is very systematic. And yeah, it doesn't seem like it for you now, but for me it's very systematic and for most of my students as well. H4 MSB, here's London Open, right? 8 AM in the morning. We pushed up, as you can see, and then we were grinding and we came lower. Here we had a nice M5, M1 short setup, but I couldn't take it because order flow was not bearish yet. Unfortunately, see the M5 sweep here, and then on the M1, this is the breaker zone or the MSB level, so the swing low before the sweep, always the same thing. So M5 sweep, M1 market structure break, so we mark out the breaker zone, same as always, breaker zone, and then entry of this level, stop loss below and above. As you can see, we moved lower, but I couldn't take this trade. I had to skip it because order flow was not in line. I need to have my trades in line with order flow at all times because that's part of my strategy. I never deviate from it. And of course, you miss some setups like this, but I don't mind because my strike rate is very high this way, and I try to keep it that way by sticking to my plan basically. So chart real quick, and you can see we broke down. After this breakdown, order flow was bearish for me because it was clearly showing price going lower, and with the pullback back in level again, as you can see, moving lower, and then here you can see we run higher a little bit. So here it was looking like order flow being bullish again because we're making higher highs, higher lows. So I was personally looking for longs here, but then it shifted lower very quickly. We had a reversal here and 5 sweep close below, but I couldn't short short this either because order flow was bullish. Like I said, so all my M5 M1s have to be in line with the order flow. And then here with the M5 MSB, and then you can see a new breakdown here again, M5 MSB. So at this point with the F5 sweep, breakdown, some sideways action, breakdown. So at this point, in my opinion, M5 order flow is now bearish. So any M5 M1 setup that occurs, I can execute. So I was waiting, and then here with a M5 sweep, we run this swing higher and then close below it. So at that point, I can go to the M1. Same thing as always, 100% systematic, M5 sweep, M1 mark. It doesn't change. And then here you can see we had a MSB. This is the last swing low before the sweep, moving lower, MSB here. At this point, I'm a limit in the market for shorts. Short limit right there, stop above, and then a 2 RTP again. Same thing. Then you can see with the break, we failed, and we spent some time in this level, and then eventually you can see it break down and gave my TP, which is this last trade I took today basically. And I made 4.8k on the trade, I risked 2.4, something like that, and then I moved lower. And that was it for this recap. I hope this strategy breakdown gave you the insights you need to improve your trading and take your trading to the next level. If you got some value from this, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the Chart Engineers channel. Hit the bell so you get notified as soon as the next video drops. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to cover or if you have any questions. As always, stay sharp, stay disciplined, and I will catch you on the next one.